Elijah Smith?
Yes.
Oh, I have him in my fourth hour.
Oh, that's so funny.
What a small world.
I know.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Hello.
Hi.
Sit anywhere you like.
Thanks.
I'm sure you're gonna love it. Hello.
I love your shoes. Thank you. They're super cute. Thanks. They're kind of old, not gonna lie. I love that. I got holes in my shoes. How have you been? I'm good. It's been a while since I got out. How about you? Same, yeah. Been stuck inside. 70.
Going
How
to
about
college
you?
soon,
I
actually.
don't know, it's hard to pick. There's so many. I know.
You just teach?
I
Do you
love
have
the
Yeah, I just teach.
So
I
sad.
have like a
Like
time for teaching
nostalgia.
schedule. What about you?
I know, and
I
black and white
have
filming.
Oh, what are your names?
I know, she's so happy.
A couple more
A
people
tier.
coming in.
Name,
I agree.
name,
I agree.
and name.
Love it.
Did
you watch
Falcon and the Winter Soldier at all? Winter Soldier was so
You
good.
talk about something you've been
It was.
like.
It was a lot of action.
Right?
I loved it.
Yeah.
did, yes.
Oh, I
So many
enjoy
times.
golfing because
Ooh.
I don't know. It's
So
like
ready.
doing it in my
So
spare
pretty,
time, and
so
everything else
nice.
just seems
I
too
love it.
draining. And golfing is just
Oh,
it's fun to golf in the perfect weather when you don't have to be in the grade, and you can just go home and relax afterwards.
That's nice. I never seen anyone use golf before.
We're very passionate about the machines.
Oh,
Yeah, I
5
got 'em in
years.
high school.
It's a really long time.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
time
So cool.
kind of flies.
Yeah.
I love doing it though.
Yeah, I haven't grown very long.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm so
You're fine.
sorry.
All right, I think that's everyone. I'm really excited you decided to join me today. I know it can be difficult to open up to get the help you need, but I just want to be the first to say I'm proud. It takes a lot of courage. So, to break the ice, I thought that we could all start by sharing something about ourselves. Just to, get to know each other. I'll go first. My name is Bryn, and I like to volunteer at animal shelters. Any brave volunteers to go next?
Hi, my name is Beckett, and I love to travel.
Oh, fun. What's your favorite place you've been?
I'd have to say Brooklyn. I love the atmosphere.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing, Beckett. How about we go in a circle?
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Arena, and I'm the oldest of 7 kids.
Wow, that is a large family.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sasha, and I'm majoring in biomedical engineering.
That's really interesting. What made you want to study that?
My dad does engineering stuff, and I just wanted to go into the field.
That's really cool. Good for you.
Hi, I'm Jay. One fun fact about me is that I loved mini golfing before COVID hit us.
Oh, mini golf's always fun.
Hi, my name's Iris, and I have a cat.
Oh, can we see a picture?
Yeah, it's my lock screen.
Oh, very cute. What's her name?
Frost.
Adorable.
Hi, my name's Elise and I work in finance.
Wow, that's impressive. And you? You're the last one.
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Ophelia, and I love to cook. It really helps me calm down.
Oh, I love to cook too. What's your favorite thing?
Probably pasta, any type too.
Pasta's my favorite too. All right, now that we've broken the ice a little bit, I think it's time that we start sharing our stories. Just remember, this is a judgment-free zone here. We're all here to help and support one another. Just so everyone's comfortable, I'll go first. Is that okay? All right. Well, when the lockdown order landed in my town, I knew my plan to leave my abusive husband had to speed up. My 2 teenage kids were living with us now, so they would see the abuse firsthand. It was something I tried to keep hidden from them. They knew how controlling he could be, but they never knew how violent he could get. Anything would set him off, from how I did my hair to what I wore. I felt trapped. I couldn't call anyone because he was always in the house with me, and I couldn't go anywhere because if I left him for more than an hour, he'd get suspicious. But one night we had an argument, It was over something stupid, like what channel on TV to watch. I never talked back to him. But that night, I just snapped. I told him I was taking the kids and leaving him for good. He threatened to throw me down the stairs. That night, I stayed at a hotel with my kids, and he froze all of my bank accounts and all of my financial options. So the next day I went to the bank to tell this person my situation, and she told me to go to a safe house, a shelter for people who went through domestic abuse. Sitting there with my children by my side, surrounded by people who went through what I went through, that was the first time in a long time that I didn't feel alone. It was the first time in a while that I felt that I could be okay again.
You were so brave to do that.
Thanks. It took a lot of strength, but I had to do what was right for my kids.
I totally understand that. Can I go next?
Sure, of course. Thanks for volunteering.
All right. I'm a single mother of 3 kids. And when this pandemic hit, I knew all our lives were going to change. It's been difficult to balance a full-time job while monitoring my kids both at school and at home. It's been really hard to find a safe form of childcare for my 3 kids. I felt as though I had to choose between providing for my kids emotionally or financially. Watching my kids struggle throughout this pandemic and not being able to help them has been really hard. Watching my son fail out of some of his classes was a harsh reality check for me, and sometimes I question if I was even a good enough mother. Although I'm trying to give myself the understanding and compassion that we all deserve.
Thank you for sharing your story. It's important to remember that COVID has affected all of us. We appreciate your courage.
How do you manage to do all that? I'm a teacher and I struggle with balancing it all.
My kids are my world. I do it for them. I just want the best life that they can have.
Would you like to go next, Jay?
Yeah, I can go. I started teaching at the high school down the road 4 years ago, and I've missed a lot of things since quarantine started. I miss seeing my students every day and asking them how they are doing. I miss that school bell keeping me on track or the teacher next door dropping in to tell me about his weekend. I miss knowing what comes next because in the classroom I was grounded. I had control over how I would teach my students. But now with all these Zoom meetings and online assignments, sometimes I just have no idea what I'm doing. When COVID first hit, everyone was scrambling. I myself had to teach a few of the older generation students how to create a Canvas class while I myself was altering all of my lesson plans. So it's been a really stressful school year. That's why I came here, to, cope with all these new things.
Thanks, Jay. We all feel you.
I never realized how affected the teachers were by all of this. It just seemed you all had it all together.
We just want to be as strong as possible for our students. They deserve that.
I guess I can go next. I'm a junior this year and it's way more than I thought it would be. I knew my junior year was going to be harder than my sophomore year, but since it was mostly online, it was completely different. And on top of that, I took more advanced classes so it looked better for colleges, but that made everything 10 times harder. Due dates were a stressor. Trying to get into a Zoom meeting when my Wi-Fi wasn't working was always embarrassing. And trying to do assignments I didn't understand was just impossible. And on top of that, I couldn't talk to the other teachers or students. When we got back to in-person, I felt more comfortable, but I didn't have the motivation anymore because of online school. I was so used to scraping around the deadlines, and now I have homework every single night. It just seems impossible to balance it all. I just wanted to share and see if anyone else had a similar experience.
I totally get you, Iris. I'm a college student, and doing school with the pandemic is stressful enough.
It just seems impossible to balance it all. Could you share your experience, maybe?
Yeah, I would love to. For me, returning to college with distance learning has been very different, to say the least. Before returning to campus, we all got a 30-page list of requirements that the whole school had to follow, and even though we had that guide, coming back to something completely different was very scary. I really didn't know what to expect. Currently, Many of the different dorms on campus have been shut down due to the virus spreading in them, and this scares me that the possibility that my dorm will be next or that the whole school will have to shut down. Recently, I've begun to feel very secluded and alone because of this isolation. We weren't allowed to go in other dorms or see our friends or even eat together in the dining halls. I've found myself not putting in the effort to talk to others because of this, especially since most of my classes were all online. I've found that my anxiety has skyrocketed a lot and the panic attacks have been greater in numbers. It's been hard for me to get help for this because I don't want to admit that there's something wrong.
Thanks for sharing your experience. I feel a little bit better.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I feel a little less alone.
That's what we strive for. Care to share your story?
Oh, yeah, I guess I can go. I've always kind of struggled with my mental health. Ever since I was little, it's kind of just been there. And you know, before this happened, I was starting to feel better. I used to never want to leave my room or get out of bed, but I was going for walks, hanging out with my friends and starting to piece my life back together for the better. But when COVID hit, my life began to fall apart again. They say that living with depression is kind of like a roller coaster, hitting all the highs and lows while just hanging onto the handlebars, just trying to stay seated. Depression can feel so hopeless. Depression and isolation feels like the world is ending. And you know, therapists say, call your friends, spend time with your family, but how am I supposed to do that when I feel no motivation? And I'm starting to become fearful of my own thoughts. It just feels like my mind is trying to kill me. But continuing to live with this numbness doesn't really feel like living at all. And you know, once lockdown order was stopped and restrictions were eased, I realized life was actually kind of beautiful. Your mind can go to really, really dangerous places when in isolation, and it definitely got to me. I struggle a lot with feeling alone, and I just wanted to join a group just so I had something to look forward to every week.
I'm glad you found us. And just remember, you're not alone. Even if we are complete strangers, everyone here shares some experiences. I hope that someone can share their story to help you too. Can I go next?
Of course.
Mental health is a big part of my problem, too. I started going to therapy, but when COVID hit, it kind of just shifted into the background. I didn't really care to help myself, and it just felt useless to try to better myself when I was surrounded by misery all the time. COVID really hurt my mind, too. I drifted back. I isolated myself and fell into habits I tried to avoid. I self-harmed. It was just my only form of release from the bad thoughts that constantly surrounded me. Isolation was unbearable, and I didn't know what to do. I could have contacted my therapist, but it just felt like a battle that wasn't even worth fighting. It's something I regret now. I'm clean. I haven't done it in a while. Once the restrictions were lifted, it was easier to, go outside and enjoy living again. Something I have to remember and is that in no way does this make me weak or less than. I really never liked myself, and every time I would fall back again, I hated myself even more. But it doesn't define me. My scars are beautiful, and I started going to therapy again. I thought by joining a support group, it would help me, look forward to something each week. I'm sorry. It's not exactly a fun story.
No, it's okay. You're so brave for sharing. Thank you for coming today.
I'm so sorry you have to deal with this. I know it's not easy.
I appreciate that. It's definitely something I've had to learn to grow from, but I know anyone here can get through it.
Beckett, you're the last one. Would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. It's kind of a heavier story, though.
That's okay. We're all here to support you.
Okay, well, it's hard to admit, but I struggle with alcohol. And I was sober for 6 years, then lockdown happened, and I lost everything, from my job to my mind. I had no control over what I was thinking, and that led to me not being able to control my actions. When this first started, I was doing great. I was painting the places I wanted to go because it felt like I was getting away from everything. But as lockdown got longer and I lost my job, I stopped taking my meds. And I started getting that feeling of when I started to drink. I ended up finding myself in front of that corner store, reaching for that six-pack I knew all too well. And the worst part was seeing the manager, Jake, who became a really close friend of mine during rehab. And I knew he didn't want to sell them to me. But he just started to scan them and made one comment saying, "I hope you know what you're doing." But the thing is, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no mental control over myself. So I grabbed them and walked out. I don't remember that night, but when I woke up, I felt absolutely horrible. Not because of a hangover, but because I just threw away 6 years of my life. So I called my mom, hoping to get some word of encouragement, but she made it very clear that she wanted nothing to do with me as long as I drank myself to death. So the hurt and angry part of me wanted to make her sorry, so I drank until I couldn't anymore. But then I finally realized I needed to get better, so I wised up and started looking for help groups. I saw a post for this group in person, and I thought it might help to try again.
I know how it feels to not have support. I'm really sorry your mom treated you like that.
That's horrible. I could never, ever do that to my kids. They mean way too much to me.
My mom's always been like that, but I guess that's part of our journey.
That's a positive way to look at it. All right. I think that was everyone. Before we go, I'd like to do something that I try to do with every session. Let's go around and I'll say something to help motivate each other. It doesn't have to be long or inspirational, just something to help one another. Would you like to go first?
Sure. There's no one quite like you.
Take a deep breath. If you need help, help is available.
People need more love than they show.
Be patient with yourself. You're working on it, and things truly do get better.
I see you. I know things are tough right now, but you'll get through it.
This is hard, but we can do hard things together. You're not alone.
Tomorrow deserves a chance.
It's okay to not feel okay. Thank you everyone for today. Please remember, you are all loved and you all deserve this life given to you. Thank you for coming. Have a wonderful day.